Hey, this is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro studios. If you can hear me clearly, make sure you give me a thumbs up before you leave this video. I appreciate you for coming by and hanging out today. Um, I have a book out there called Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. You can absolutely download it for free at smartrealestatewholesaling.com. It's a good book. If you are yet to get started in wholesaling and you're looking for a great way to get started and you're not yet part of our mastermind, at this point in time, it's only going to cost you $10 per month. All you have to do is go to 3pillarsystem.com. 3pillarsystem.com. There's a waived join fee of $197, and you can take advantage of that right now as we're talking. So, on this video, we're going to be talking about the three keys to your first deal. Okay, the three keys to your first deal, and it's A.M.C. And I'm going to share them with you one after the other, and we're gonna dig a little deeper into each one, but we're gonna keep it short and sweet. But there's some meat of the information that I want to make sure that you get your hands on, or you get your ears on, or you get your eyes watching me as I describe these things today, so that you can take advantage of it. They're all coming from experience, okay? One of the greatest form of education is experience, obviously. In fact, there's some type of education that you will never get until you have some experience in the game. So, with that being said, let's first of all talk about what real estate wholesaling or wholesale real estate is. Essentially, it's an opportunity to find deeply discounted properties. It's the heart and science of finding deeply discounted properties and then turning them for profit. That's something we cover in details, exactly how you go step by step using the three pillars, which I describe in the book, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, on how to do that. All right. There's a step by step process to this, and you need to obviously break it down to step by step, in order to benefit from this. Okay. So, with that being said, let's get into the three keys to success in this. I'm gonna have to call you back, bro. I have to call you back. I'm live. All right. So there are three keys that I want to share with you. Basically, uh, in order to in order to find deeply discounted properties, so you can turn them for profit. Basically, the idea is to add value to real estate properties, okay? But it's not really about real estate at the end of the day. It's about people, okay? So, for example, you could drive for dollars and write down 100 different properties. If you can't find the people that are in control of these properties, not necessarily own, but in control of this property, if you can't find these people, then nothing. All right. So hold on 1 second. All right. So three keys I want to share with you. The first one is action. Okay, action. Now, why do I feel the need to come and tell you about action here? Let me tell you something. There's something extremely popular right now. As a matter of fact, you're on it right now. It's called YouTube University, and There are lots of people that went through YouTube University. It's not like back in the days when I got started back in 2004 and five. There was no such and such as YouTube University. The available seminars at the time was at the hotel meetings, basically at the meetups. In fact, I don't think meetup.com existed at the time. At the time it was Yahoo Messenger, it was Yahoo Group Messenger that we used to communicate to it was the online community that we communicated through. That's how we shared deals at the time, and obviously by way of email. As a matter of fact, these days, a lot of time we're sending back and forth deals on text messages, WhatsApp messages, and things like that. Those things did not exist back then. It was basically Yahoo Group, okay, and your emails. That's what you had, and that's where we built the business off of, right? So back in the days, things are, people take the few people that stumbled into wholesaling, short sales, real estate investing, and they took action. Okay, they took action because it wasn't that many people. You had to be a go-getter to even stumble into the information in the first place. But these days, everyone, their moms and pops are stumbling into this. As a matter of fact, an average person you meet has they know a thing or two about wholesaling. I can't tell you how many times somebody who is a personal friend end up on my list of on my list of prospects to call, and then they usually, oh yeah, so you're doing that wholesaling thing, right? I mean, they're in trouble. They have a reason to get rid of a property, but then they already know about wholesaling, and sometimes that can intimidate you, and you're like, oh yeah, but everybody knows about it. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter. Okay, what I always tell people is to lead with value, which is the first of the three pillars that I teach heavily, and I give you a step by step at 3pillarsystem.com. Is to have value. If you have value, the one thing that everyone can't figure out is that you bring value to the table with respect to what they need, what they want, what they have to have, right? You bring value to the table. If you bring value to the table, it doesn't matter how many terminologies or how many real estate big terminologies, big grammar English that they know, you win, because if they're not in a position where you can bring them value, it was useless anyway. Okay. So I always tell people, these days is a little bit harder to take actions because of demand and supply, because there's oversupply of wholesalers in the game. A lot of people are not taking the proper action. A lot of people are going through YouTube University, consuming all the information there is to consume, which I still encourage, because obviously I'm putting out content here and I want you to consume and watch the videos and click like on the video if you want to do me a favor, right? I want you to do all of those things, but I also want you to take action. Okay, I want you to understand that the longer you spend behind a YouTube video, going through YouTube University, the higher the chances, not the higher the chances, the longer you're spending away from taking actual action in the game. For me personally, I watch a lot of YouTube videos too, not as much as I produce. I have over 600 plus videos on this channel right now, which is another reason why you must subscribe, right? But for me personally, I go through a lot of videos, and a lot of time I'm doing stuff and I'm listening to YouTube videos in the background that are audio. I listen to channels that are related to things that I want to improve my skills on, marketing channels, because primarily as a wholesaler, you are a marketer and you must improve your marketing skills over time. You must improve and tune your marketing mindset from time to time, because people change behaviors, people evolve, and the way they respond to the information or the message that you have for that market will change. The media form will change behaviors from time to time. You must stay on top of that at the very level. But there's some fundamentals, valuable, few things that you just need to know first. And it doesn't matter how much marketing platforms evolve, you basically will be fine. Okay, because you know the fundamentals. And that those fundamentals is what I share with you when I tell you value, automation, and people. Those three things are the essential things that you need in order to kill it in wholesaling real estate. But let's talk about the three keys to going to your deal, to getting to closing in on your closing your deals faster. Your first deal, right? So if you haven't closed your first deal, this video is for you. The first thing is action. You really, really, really have to take time and say, I need to take action. I need to do something today. I need to get on the phone and talk to the first prospect. If you have already spoken to the first prospect, well, it's time to talk to the second prospect. Talk to the 10th prospect. Talk to the 20th prospect. Get the ball rolling. One of the hardest things for people to do in this game, I'm sharing the hardest things with you right now. I'm going to share the three hardest things to accomplish in this game with you, and that's why I call them the three keys. Is to finally just take action. You know enough already to take action. Okay, you know enough to take action. You don't have to wait until you go to that event in Dallas, Texas, right? Before you take action. You can take action right now, right? Already, I said, because all it takes is talk to some homeowners, find phone numbers for homeowners and talk to homeowners. Because the third pillar at the end of the day is people. People, you need to talk to people. You need to talk to people that are in control of the properties that you want to put under contract. Does that make sense? The second thing I want to share with you, I call this A.M.C. So we just shared the A, which is action. You have to be anal about taking action. You have to take action. You have to be stubborn with yourself about taking action. You have to wake up and come back to at the time that you set and said, I'm going to take action, 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 action. You have to really, really, really write out in your brain and take action. If you notice, I didn't say mentorship, I didn't say partnership, I didn't say JVs, whatever any of those things are basically after you take action. You need to take some kind of action beyond just education. You have more than enough information, is my point here. The next thing, M, is stands for motivation. Remember, I'm talking about the three keys to your first deal. Fast, okay? Dollar sign fast. Motivation, okay? Um, Listen, there's a lot of knowledge out there about who you should call. Who's the right prospect? Should you call free and clear? Should you call high equity? Should you call pre-foreclosure? Should you call absentee owners? What about out of state absentee owners? Vacant properties, pre-foreclosure. Did I say pre-foreclosures? Foreclosures, REO, bank owned, realtors. Which source of leads is going to get you to your first deal fast? Well, let's just think of it this way: motivation. Why did I say motivation? Because again, I can give you absentee owners. In your area, maybe absentee owner is not moving as fast, just within that segment of the list you're calling, and then you give up and you said, no, this doesn't work. Well, you got a problem. Let me sip a bottle of water. Okay, interesting. All right. So motivation is really the key, because you need to understand fundamentally why you're picking what list you want to call. Well, motivation simply means, why is the person selling? Okay, why do they want to sell? So if you ask a person why do they want to sell, and they say, well, if the offer is right, there's no motivation. They don't want to sell. Okay, um, if they have the house already on the market and you say, why do you want to sell? They probably have an answer for you, because they went and put the house on the market for a reason. But you need to know what that motivation or what that motive is, or the reason why do they want to sell. You need to know what that is. That's your key to get into your deals faster. And when I say motivation with respect to this topic, I'm talking about the least you decide to call. So from a theoretical standpoint, you know that some leads, if everything else were equal, have a higher chance that they are more motivated to want to sell than the others. All right. So a house that's vacant is probably a lot more motivated to sell than free and clear. Right, if everything else were equal. So the fact that somebody owns a property free and clear, there's no mortgages against it, there's no taxes, right? And that's a reason by itself, just that reason why they may not want to sell. They don't have any reason to sell. They're not desperate, they're not motivated, they don't have to move, they own this house free and clear, compared to a vacant property. Nobody's living in there, but they have a bill that's due every quarter. It's called property taxes, even if they own it free and clear, right? But it's vacant, right? If a property is occupied, obviously it's producing, somebody is benefiting from the existence of that property, so there's no motivation, right? But if it's vacant, there is motivation to maybe they want to sell. If this is theoretically, it doesn't always mean that, but from a theoretical standpoint, you know that a vacant property will probably be more motivated than a free and clear property. Okay, what about the same thing, high equity, right? Let's compare pre-foreclosures and high equity. A person that has a bill on their shoulder, that they're looking over their shoulder right now because the sheriff may come and lock the doors any minute, is probably more motivated from a theoretical standpoint than a property that's, is absentee owner. Absentee owner simply means they don't live in the property. Other people may live in the property. It could be a tenant. If everything else were equal, if the tenant was making payment, that means everything was perfect. Pre-foreclosures would be always more motivated than absentee owner, right? Or more motivated than free and clear, or more motivated than somebody who their name is not even on your radar, somebody looking to rent. There's all these different nuances that you need to kind of sit down and think about it from a theoretical standpoint. Does this person have a reason to want to sell now? Not 10 months from now, not 3 years from now, to want to sell now, right? Is there a good, could this person, does they have a chance that they have a good reason to want to sell now? To identify what that list to you from your understanding standpoint, identify what that list is, and just going in on that list and calling them you will get a lot faster to your deal faster, because the fact that you believe they're more motivated will translate to how you talk to them and how you bring value to them via your conversation with them. It just makes sense. All right. So I stole this from the Wholesale Inc. guys. It's factual and it's very true. The four pillars of motivation, we call them the pre-qualifiers, is basically the condition of the property. Does the property need repair? That's probably gonna be a reason for but you can't find that out until you talk to the homeowner. So we're trying to find out what list you should be calling, what list you should be contacting or sending a mail to. All right. We're trying to find out, just based on the limited information that we have, which list is probably more motivated. We're talking about motivation. We're talking about A.M.C, the three keys to your first deal. Okay. So condition, we can't find out what condition. Timeline, how soon do they want to sell? We can't find out until we talk to them, right? Motivation, well, we can have a little bit idea of motivation by looking at what list. Are you calling the vacant list, pre-foreclosure list? Which one is more motivated? Pick the first three that you feel will be more motivated on that motivation scale. Which one is higher? Pre-foreclosures, tax delinquency, right? Those are probably more motivated, right? Because a house is on a probate list does not mean they are motivated. They may just think their mother's house is worth a whole lot more. Just again, they may end up being motivated, but again, I'm telling you how to pick your list. And a lot of that has to do with your own personal motivation too. If you feel like you know a list enough to really have a conversation, an engaging conversation about it, maybe that's something you should pay attention to. We're talking about motivation as the second key. Okay. Do your motivation scale on any one of the available lists to you and pick the one that you feel will probably be more motivated. Does it feel like somebody who doesn't live in a house, just for the purpose of not living in a house, does it feel to you that they'll probably be more motivated? Yeah, give them a call. From my experience, it's just a large list of people that we don't need to be wasting resources, time, and energy calling. All right. Depending on what stage you are in your business. If you have enough money, you can blast everybody that own a home. But obviously, if you're getting started and you're trying to get to your first deal fast, then you have to pick the list that's going to give you your best chances to get to that deal fast, right? So the third pre-qualifier, right, on the wholesale link is condition, timeline, motivation. Very key. Price. We don't know the price until we talk to them. So the really one thing you have before you start calling the list. The idea of motivation is like, call the list that feels to you that they are more motivated. So from my experience, pre-foreclosure, most of the deals I've ever closed in my life came from pre-foreclosure. Maybe you should steal that and run with it. It's completely up to you. But I've done deals that are strictly, there was no foreclosure coming, but they sold it to me very cheaply. I've done those as well. I just don't go after them with my resources, my time, my energy, my VAs. They're not calling these people because we have more than enough data on my top two list to call. Okay. So that's that. C, the third key to your first deal. I've preached this multiple times over and over and over and over and over. I've preached this multiple times again, but let me just repeat it for you. Consistency. Listen, you could do everything wrong. You can't get consistency wrong. You can't afford to get consistency wrong. You have to be consistent. Okay? You have to show up every day because you just never know. All right. Now, if you skip 2 weeks before you take any action, remember the first key is action. If you skip 2 weeks, you just never know. You just never know if that your first deal was within that last 2 weeks that you skipped. So if you're going to have any kind of fear in the game, have fear that if I skip the next 1 week, maybe I will skip my first deal, right? If you're going to have any kind of fear, that's the kind of fear you should have. But of course, understand that you need to live a life too. But I'm just saying, if you're just going to skip 1, 2, 3 months, weeks because you're lazy, you might as well don't do the business because you're probably missing out on getting to your first deal. Because I'm going to share another concept with you. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person and you cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. When the match made it ever happens, you can say all the wrong things to them. And if that person is right for the offer that you're offering, which is to buy their property and get rid of the property for them, right? If that person is right, They will help you get to where we're trying to get to, which is to close a deal for you. If that person is wrong, you could say everything right, and they're still not going to budge. They don't want to do any business with you. You could beg yourself and beg them, and like, sign up with me. I can help you. That's why ultimately you must relax when you're talking to people on the phone. You are the one that has the key to their success, not the other way around. You're there because you don't need them; they need you, not the other way around. They need you. You don't need them. Okay. So if you show up with that kind of confidence, not arrogance, arrogance comes in the words you use, but confidence is people can feel it when they see you. If you show up that way, they will want to do business with you. They will take the time to talk to you, to answer your questions. And a lot of things you may say, you may not even know the internal core meaning besides the technical definition of a word, but you used it with confidence, and they're like, you know what, they feel comfortable with you telling stories. You ask them, tell me the story about the house. Well, let me tell you something. I'm looking for a house that I can pick up and make some profit off of. Just the authenticity can make all the difference. If it's the right person, they will do business with you. You can't say the wrong thing to them. Not to say don't learn the right things to say. I'm just letting you know, if you relax, chances are you would say the right things. But just keep in mind that you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. If they're the right person, they will help you get all the way to closing the deal. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind. So with that in mind, come to the table ready to show up every day. Make it a religious thing until you close your first deal. If you haven't closed your first deal, you really should not be having a day off in this business. You should be spending at least an hour calling the best prospect that you have chosen to call from the key number two, which is motivation, right? You should spend every single day at least 1 hour. And the more you call, the higher the chances you will get to your first deal. The key is not volume. I didn't say make sure you're calling 20,000 people. If you haven't closed your first deal, you have no reason talking to 20,000 people. All you have to do, pull the first 1,000 you want to pull, first 1,000 list you want to pull, and call them and show up consistently trying to talk to people. Okay. When you get somebody on the phone, ask them if they know somebody that need to get rid of a property. Ask for referrals all day long. Get used to it. Just get into the habit of asking for referrals, because if you do that, some of your best deals, obviously, highest ROI, because when you get a referral, you didn't pay any money to market to it, right? It's like free leads when you ask for referrals. Don't hesitate from saying, do you know anybody that needs to get rid of a property? I pay all cash. All cash offers no closing costs. We'll close in 7 to 10 days. Obviously, the number has to be right, but it's true if the number is right, right? If the number is not right, then we take a little bit of time to come up with a better solution, as long as you're coming up with a solution. All right. So that's what I have for you today. A.M.C, action, motivation, consistency. Those are the three keys that I wanted to share with you today to help you get to your first deal fast. Hopefully, you really enjoy that. Don't forget, go grab this book. Speaking of motivation, I'm going to do an exercise in the training before we talk about the book, smartrealestateWholesaling.com, right? I'm going to do an exercise for our members at 3pillarsystem.com, where we actually put a number, a scale number on each type of list, right? When we put a scale number on it, and then you can now decide what motivation level of these people you want to call. And we will discuss this. We will make it also available as a discussion, because I may feel like vacant is much more motivated. You may feel like, nah, pre-foreclosures are much more motivated. This is just a feeling. And a lot of gurus will tell you what the best list is, but the truth is that they've never measured it or quantify any of those things. A lot of them stick with the ones where they get the first deal, and they just stick with that. And that's okay. But I'm telling you, if you're trying to get your first deal, you haven't closed your first deal, so you don't know. And you're trying to figure out which is the best list to call, right? My best list is pre-foreclosure, but I'm being honest with you that it was the first place where I closed my first deal. So I'm naturally biased by pre-foreclosures. But when we work together to put a motivation number on the 10 different types of leads that exist, or lead list that exist, then you can come from a more educated standpoint and see which one attracts you. The more we define it, we'll give it a number, a scale number of motivation on a scale of 1 to 10. Then we'll determine which one is probably more. It's a great exercise to do, so you can choose what list you want to put all your energy behind and plant your flag at it and just go hard. All right. So with that being said, that training is going to be available in 3pillarsystem.com. Go sign up. It's only $10 a month. Smart Real Estate Wholesaling.com for free. You get this book. It's also available in paper. Okay, free PDF. It's available in paperback, Kindle, and audio. Share this video. If I said anything that made sense, please, as a favor to me, your boy, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure your lid's blue. All right. And then if you have any questions, comment below. Any form of engagement, sharing helps our video go wider. So thank you so much. I've done 600 videos. We have what 1400 subscribers. We're going for 100,000. Okay, it's slow but surely, and we're working hard. But the beauty about this channel is that we make a whole lot more money here than some of the bigger channels because we understand marketing. Okay, so it's not about the numbers, but the numbers does help everything else at the end of the day. So any favor you can do for me by making sure you give me a thumbs up will be appreciated. Thank you so much for your time with me here. Hopefully you've been educated and enlightened, and I'll see you on the next one. And peace.